Hey everybody, and welcome back to Evindale and tonight's session of Branching Out a Leshy's Tale.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, love?
I'm good. I can't see you.
You can't see? Oh, yeah, hold on, I'll fix that right now. There we go. So last week, for episode 6/14, we lost episode 6, and we ended up replaying it to become episode 14. And in a way, it just continued the story, sort of. And there's a reason why I'm mentioning this, even though I kind of mentioned it in those sessions, which are all now available up on YouTube. And from this point forward, they're also all going to be edited without the introduction, or without the 10-minute introduction. And then we'll go back and we'll take out the 10-minute introduction for all the others as well. But last week really set the pace of stuff that Bramble might encounter. I'm kind of curious if the differences between the original episode 6 and what was played out last week, episode 14, essentially the same event. How did that impact Bramble, if at all?
Well, it was kind of the opposite, because when she, in the original story, she was doing very poorly against the frost giant, not frost giant,
Hill
the
giant.
mountain troll,
Hill giant, yeah.
And Avianth had to like save her ass. She was almost dead.
Yeah.
And this time he die?
He did, yeah. It was not pretty. It was not pretty.
So it was, and there was a lot more at stake. I think she felt a lot more nervous this time facing off with the Creole Galal, knowing how scary they are.
Yeah. They was there ever a moment when, was it ever a thought that the actions of Bramble might change her future by having gone back to relive some of that?
I think so, but not in the way that you would think, where it was like it all would be for naught kind of thing. I think she was like, if it's gonna change, I can make it better.
Okay.
So I think she felt a little empowered in that she's done it once before, but a little bit on edge because it was going very poorly.
Yeah, it wasn't going well at all. The in the actual fight with the hill giant, it just ended up turning into a slaughter, and Avianth got his ass handed to him. But fortunately, you were able to save him. So now you came back to the woman in the yurt. Before we continue, do you have any questions about anything that I can answer that might clarify things?
Did she lose her brilliant dagger for real?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, that was left behind.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, sorry.
I have a javelin, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh God, she's gonna die.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a bad thing, I suppose. Yeah, so that's that. What is there anything else before we get going?
I think she should have taken diplomacy when she leveled, so that I could try to like get one of the Royally Rider's daggers before I leave.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
So, all right, you ready?
Yes, I am.
And again, it just did that thing. Oh well. Nonetheless, when you came back, you found yourself in the yurt again, and the old woman had her hand outstretched. And in it, you had placed a portion of the mushroom, which Avianth had used in order to heal himself, but also yourself. It was almost as if she knew something about its existence. Maybe that's why she sent you back in the first place. Either way, when she did that, and then she waved her hand around the yurt, the history of her people then began to unfold. And then the yurt walls kind of dissipated just a little bit, enough for you to be able to see out. Not like you were shifting a location, you didn't need to, but it was akin to what you and Mortimer had experienced previously. oddness of reality. When I last described it, you were beholding the true nature of the steps of the nation known as the Zeroily Riders, an eternal, ethereal civilization splayed out before you. Before you do anything else, or before I describe anything else, is there anything you would like to do?
Bramble immediately, like 1 second to the lady and dips out of the tent to see if Mortimer's there.
Yeah, and he's like, it's happening again. I don't know what this is. Got ghosts over there. Got ghosts. We've got buildings.
Oh my God.
And what?
Thank Nordaga, and I'm gonna hug him real tight. I'm so glad you're here.
I just saw you 5 seconds ago. What are you doing? I'm still here. Of course I'm still here. Nothing could possibly have happened. You walked in and you came back out to hug me. What's she feeding you in there?
Nothing yet. I'll explain later. I don't want to be rude. I'll be right back. And I'm gonna dip back.
So you go back inside the dimly lit yurt, and as compared to the air outside where Mortimer is, the air in here, though the walls have kind of become a little bit transparent, it is thick with the scent of burning herbs. You got a smell of comparison, outdoors versus inside. And there you can see the old woman still looking at you, and her skin is, it now that you have a clearer picture of it, because before you really didn't get much, now you do. And you can tell that her skin, her flesh, her eyes have seen countless suns and moons. She has deep-set eyes, pools of like an ancient wisdom, and they are completely fixated on you with a gentle smile under them. And she has yet to utter a single word. Nothing, anyway, that you'd be able to understand. Then her fingers begin to dance in the air, and visions start unfolding. First, you see an image of yourself standing at a crossroads of light and shadow. And then you recall how you appeared next to yourself, but you didn't see yourself, on the side of a hill, with a hill giant now coming over the crest. And then with a powerful blow down upon the ground, Avianth then landed and the battle ensued. He was damaged. You rescued him by going into Creel Galal and getting a mushroom, bringing it back to him. And the Dance of Illusions continues. Your entire journey unfolded again in front of you, but this time from the perspective of someone who watched the entire thing. Vast landscapes have now unfolded, and here you can see in the distance, as you look down upon where you and Avianth were, you now see yourself traveling again to where you are now. And then it's almost like the scene unfolds. The world gets a little bit smaller, and you find yourself up in the clouds looking out. And in the distance, just beneath the clouds, out on the horizon, there you can see a land of shadow. And she looks at you. Through these illusions, you can see her face, her fingers frozen as if to keep it exactly where it is. And she looks at you and she nods inquisitively.
That's where the last seat is.
She smiles. And you, as you say those words, you can see that there is a change in the scene before you. It's almost as if your thoughts themselves have become a part of the illusion. Incredibly complex glyphs that now take the place of your spoken words. Your thoughts made manifest. She reveals that distant land of Deathglow, and at its heart lies the hidden sanctum. You've heard about it. Now for almost the second time, Avianth's description of it in that, well, you read the Codex. You know that it is going to be shrouded with mystery and significance. And she seems to understand that this was your mission after having watched and listened to everything that had transpired. And after it replays itself a little bit more about the fight and other things, she also points out that when Aviant lay there dying, before he told you anything about the mushroom again, you had a choice, and you can see a road splitting off, or a path of some kind, almost like the dance of moonlight upon the air, like still. And you chose not to walk one path, but instead chose another. And then Aviant healed, but on that other path, Aviant died. And then that path then continues and branches off, where you then went up into the mountains and into the tree, and you tried to get in, but things did not go well for you there. And then other possibilities began to unfold, and this entire map of possibility now lays out in front of you. And each time you came to a fork in the road, you chose a path of one of the thousands before you. All of them different variations of what your life could have been. And she continues to note all of your actions until finally you made a decision that enabled her to pull you back to where you are now. She smiled. You feel a connection. It's an understanding that what you have going on in front of you is because of you and all of the decisions that you've made up to this point. You step a little bit closer to her, or she to you, rather, and the world around you begins to dissolve, as I had begun to explain, and it is replaced by a vast expanse of iridescent hues. A realm not of this world sprawls out before you, and it is an absolute dreamscape coming now into your vision, just as the grass begins to disappear, and you can hear behind you, "Oh crap, there we go again, I'm floating." You see a dreamscape of floating islands and shimmering horizons, and a sky painted with colors that are incredibly difficult to imagine. You see children laughing and playing, all of them soroyly, chasing each other around these massive islands. There is no need for solid ground underfoot. Many of them aren't even walking. Instead, you can see them look somewhere, and then their body just simply goes in that direction. What do?
Am I floating?
You are. And then, as a child in the distance laughs like distant chimes, you can see that sound beginning to take shape. And you see chimes and bells and all sorts of things, and all of them shimmering with a child's laugh as it begins to pass you by.
Okay, I want to reach out and like touch the shimmeringness.
You do, and you realize that you can, in fact, affect this. Your intention, you realize, it was to affect it. And then you hear the laugh turn to a shimmer, like almost like that of nails scraping alongside a crystal glass tube. Exactly. You stop just for a quick second, and you realize anything I think is about to actually happen. Give me a will save.
Okay.
The first roll of the night.
Yay. What do I get? Oh, that's a 18.
It takes you a little bit of practice, but yeah, with that 18, you begin to realize that, all right, all of my thoughts are going to be extremely literal. Anything that happens here is well, this is going to be it. So you begin taking a look around, and your fingers still trailing off on chimes that are now ringing with a new tune, thanks to your involvement. The children creating their own sounds. But then you also hear the sound of battle, and it is not battle per se, it is warriors practicing, ethereal warriors sparring in mid-air, movements fluid and graceful, with seers just like this woman, weaving dreams into tangible, shimmering forms against which they must fight. What does Bramble think?
I think Bramble sort of like bamps her way over to the skirmishing, and because she sees it.
Yeah, you begin moving.
And she's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then they like stop short right before them.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Let's have another will save.
Okay.
Yeah, let's find out what's going on.
Oh, even better. 28.
Much better. In fact, this time when you go to, at first, your thought is, let me get close to them. And you go right past them. And before you, and then you learn how to stop. And that's what your 28 is. You will no longer have to roll to know how to move. You now are somewhat experienced with it.
Okay.
You find yourself now over a massive civilization and under as well. Remember, this is all in 3 dimensions. The Royally Riders don't live just on a flat steppes. They live everywhere. And you begin to hear sounds that sound a little bit like speech, but they're all in your head. No one here is actually speaking. And just around you, there's a bustling market. The very essence of dreams are bought and sold and traded here. Stalls shimmer with ethereal fruits that promise a taste of pure emotion, and garments that seem woven from the very fabric of moonlight. Traders beckon you closer, seeing you, an unusual sight in this place. The voices echoing again like distant memories, offering you memories and emotions contained within small, delicate, crystalline vials.
Morty, come here.
And he's just like, and he goes past you. Hold on, and you reach out, you grab him, and he immediately stops. And he's, that is jarring. That is really jarring. I don't like this.
It's like when you carry somebody in the swimming pool and they're very, very light.
Yeah,
it's like just grabbing them. Can you turn people to stone here or not?
I haven't tried. You want me to try? Oh, hold on. And he begins looking around.
Oh, goodness gracious. No. Better safe than sorry, so maybe not. But
I don't plan on it.
I think we should totally go shopping for like food and stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do they sell petrified humans by any chance?
No, but I think I have something better.
All right.
I'm gonna go up to like the fruit stand.
Yeah, you come down and yeah.
Can I have something that would make the folks back home super jealous? Like the best, juiciest fruit you've got. You
say those words and they seem a little bit confused. And you begin hearing, yeah. Huh? And her mouth did not move.
I would point to a fruit, anything that's hanging up, and be like, or,
As you make these sounds, she's like grabbing fruit, which is now beginning to move with the sonic waves that you were creating with noise. She understands and reaches up, and some of it now comes floating into her hands, and she puts it out in front of you. And
I'm gonna reach into my bag and be like, Barb, give me a coin or something. Barbara. I'm gonna take the backpack off.
No. Yeah, you take the backpack off, and then it's completely sealed. Barbara's like inside. The bulk of Barbara is inside, and inside you can hear a.
There's so much stuff around here. How does she ever find anything?
Barbara.
Oh, Christ, she knows my name.
What the fuck? You're talking. I can understand you.
She opens it up a little bit and she goes,
Well, of course I can understand you. I've always been able to understand you, but my mouth doesn't make those sounds.
I can understand you.
Oh, yeah, I suppose you can.
you notice her
Have you
mouth
never
is
cared
not
about that before?
her mouth is not moving at all.
Okay, I'm gonna be like, and try to like think what I want to say.
Careful, you might get like brain hemorrhoids doing that. Are you all right?
Do you have any money?
But there's a whole bunch of stuff that just appeared in here. Hold on.
And she starts digging around, and you see, like, she goes,
I don't exactly know what this is.
and it looks like a piece of silk that comes out, but on it, it's almost like you're looking at a film of your childhood being played out, a memory unfolding, and then another one where you discovered something new for the very first time. And then she pulls out something that looks like a coin, something that you found when you were Leshy aren't ever really children or elders. They just kind of come into existence, and some are young and some are older. But she holds out a coin, and it's the first coin of civilizations outside of Tearful Breg, your home. And you see the memory of that. Unfortunately, all the way back then, you also lost that coin, and she pulls that out. She begins digging around in memories and dreams. And
Ow!
and you see an old nightmare that has come to reside in the backpack. Something you've been carrying with you for a very long time.
I don't like that one, and I'm gonna like punch it in the nose.
And it goes back. Yeah, you boop the snoot.
Only one animal at a time in there.
Oh, there's a little bit more than that.
Oh goodness. I hope that. Hold on a second. This seems too good to be true. This one, and I'm gonna take one of the memory silks.
Sure.
And I'm gonna look at Barbara and be like, "Don't forget about this. See what's on here." Oh. Okay. Wait. What?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. If I forget this, I need you to tell me that I forgot this. Okay.
All right.
Okay. And I'm gonna turn to the lady at the stand, and I'm gonna hold it out as like payment for the fruit.
Oh, and she goes like this. No.
I'll try the coin next.
Okay. Yeah, and she takes a look at it. She nods, and she throws in a couple of extra fruits.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna try the thinking thing again to her and ask if she's ever seen a basilisk before, or she knows what a basilisk is.
She shakes her head, and you can hear a presence of a negative thought come up. Negative as in the word no or an unsure thing. And perhaps even a little bit of fear.
Oh no, he's friendly. I'm like saying this in my head. He's friendly.
Okay.
I just was hoping you had any like stone fruit or something that he would like. If I could like will it. Do you take custom orders?
She doesn't apparently understand what it is that you're saying, but she like looks around and looks over at Mortimer, who right now is like, "Hey, you got to check this thing out." And he's like, you can see he's just reaching over with like one of his 8 claws, and there's like 2 people floating in the midair, and they happen to be having they seem to be having a conversation, but instead of words, you can see like concepts and dreams and other things appear between them. And he just kind of reaches over to one of them and goes, and just like pulls out a thought and transforms it and turns it into a hat. What do you think? And the entire thing begins to unfold as like childhood memories and riding across massive steps back in the universe and in the material place. and all of this, and the entire hat just begins to like turn into a horse and like stampedes his head and then rides off into the sky. And he's like, "Hell, this place is fucking weird."
Yeah, that was
Pretty sure we dropped tabs
it.
before we got here. You know what I'm saying, right? Am I right?
For sure.
I don't like this place.
Maybe don't take other people's memories without asking.
Yeah, yeah, consent and all that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna turn my attention back to the lady. Thank you very much, and throw the memory on the silk back in the bag, and like put Barbara back on, and
Okay.
and then go here, and we go to Mortimer with like the fruit that I didn't want out of the ones that she gave me.
Sure.
And then I'm gonna say, try to turn this to stone. Like, will it to be a rock?
He concentrates on it for a second, and you can see one eye is kind of working a little bit harder than the other. And then he was like, then he switches to effort. He's like, "No, I can't. They don't have flesh to turn. It's not real." Well, it's real, but it's not body real. It's not. Poke, and his hand goes right through you. I'm useless here.
No. You're not useless. I'll give this one to Barbara, and I'll throw it in the bag. Is there a butcher around?
No.
Interesting.
There's no need for one.
Oh, then why is there fruit? Just for funsies. Okay.
Well, there's no physical body to take apart, so you don't see a butcher per se.
Ah, okay. Well, I don't want you to starve while you're here. Can you try this anyways? Try this anyways. I'm gonna try to give him another fruit.
You want me to turn it to stone?
No, like it's not. It's like real, but it's not like real fruit. So like, try to eat it and see if you can eat it.
So you hold out the fruit in front of him, and he kind of like opens up his multi-toothed mouth for a second, and kind of freezes. And his eyes are focused on a distant object.
I'm gonna turn to look at what he's looking at.
Yeah, and you see a hooded person. Not the face obscured. We're not talking like, it's Strider in the corner of the putt, and it's not that. It's just a hooded person. What they're wearing seems to be, again, more like a dream, a cloak that scintillates with multiple colors, all of them muted and like almost like a brocade pattern come to life. And he looks up, and he has a vial. You can see a couple of these people are around, and he has like a small stall next to him, and all these vials are neatly arranged on just a platform which happens to be floating. Well, kind of floating. In this case, it's supported by 4 horses on either corner. Each horse is only that big. And he's holding it up and looking at Morty. And Morty's like, "What's in those vials?"
I don't know. You want to go find out with me?
He begins thinking about it and starts coming a little bit closer, and then he kind of stops before the person, and the person looks at him and nods. But as Morty gets a little bit closer, the stranger brings the vial a little bit closer to him, unsure of this creature, and sees you coming as well, and goes like that.
What is it?
You think or say?
I think she would have said it first and then like caught herself and then been like, hold on.
So as you say it, it's like some of the vials they begin to move a little bit, and he like stills his display. And then you change it over to thoughts. And then communicating only in thoughts, he holds up the glass vial. The multifaceted cylinder in front of you, it's kind of trumpeted, so it's a little bit narrower towards the base, and it kind of comes up into a flute with a crystal stopper. And within, you can see there is a liquid in there, and at a distance of maybe a meter or so, it's a little bit difficult to see exactly what's inside of it, but as he begins moving it forward, obviously to show you what's inside, In here, you can see somebody moving and repeating the same thing. And then he reaches down and shows you another one. And then you see one who's gesturing in the air, and it's always the same gesture. And then you hear memories and lessons.
How did you get these?
We trade. All things are tradable here.
Okay. So how much is it, like a memory for a memory situation?
It is.
What?
It is an opportunity to remember something that you've never known and lose something that you always knew about.
Are you like a traveling merchant? Do you have vials from all
No.
over the place?
Huh. People come from all over the place. I am here.
Do you have any Death Gloomian vials?
His ethereal brow kind of furrows for a second. How do you mean?
Like, has anybody from Dathgloam ever come over to here?
Oh. I've only heard of this place, and I would not know whether or not they had come from there.
Oh, hold on. She knows this off the top of her head, but I'm
What do you got?
the journal about the hidden sanctum, the person that wrote it. I was gonna read and see if the writer's name was there, and I just looked and it's not. Never mind. What about? Do you have any? There's a place in Dathgloam called the Hidden Sanctum. Do you happen to have any memories about it?
He seems to think for a second, and you can see like thought bubbles come up and memories begin to interplay. And it's all very complex because he's going through everything to see if he knows one little thing, just like anyone else would. But this is the first time you're actually seeing somebody think and recall memory and then apply it and extrapolate and do. And it's when he settles in on one thing, everything else just kind of goes just for a moment and fades back into a distance in his own head. And one memory then remains. I do not have direct knowledge of this, but I have heard of it. Is this what you're seeking?
Yeah, any information about where it could be.
The people who would know anything about that are not going to be here. We of the Zoroili, we stay here. But beyond the waters, in the material, the tangible place, you might be able to find people who know a little bit more about it.
Do you mean like north or like whatever is east?
East, the dream speakers. You want to
That's-
seek
oh.
them.
That's a whole other continent. Like, that's what you're talking about, right? Not Arenal?
I don't know what the Serenol place is.
That's this continent.
What
That's
do you
where we
mean
are
by
now.
continent? What is this word?
It's all of the lands that you can walk to on foot, all put together into one big piece of land.
Across the water, there's more land. And I think you can get to it by walking up and around as well. Is that the same?
It could be. Do you have any dream, what did you call them? Dream weavers?
Dream speakers.
Dream speakers. Do you have any dream speaker memories in
No.
there?
They wish to do us harm, so we do not deal with them.
Why?
This used to be their land.
Why isn't it their land anymore?
We had no place to live. Long time ago, we used to live here. And then, when the ices came, we went to the south, or so our legends say. Then when we came back, others had already moved in, but they were an evil people. They could manipulate things. Something happened a long time ago that made many people be able to do things that other people could not. And they wielded this power like a great blade on a child. And they tried to kill us when we came back home. We did what we had to. And our people survived. And they went back to where they are now, across the river, across the sea.
So if you can go up and over to get there, why don't they come back?
Times have changed. Many years have changed. People. And other threats have come.
Are you saying that they would have a better idea of where the hidden sanctum is?
I'm saying that they have it in their legends. We've heard of it, but this is not a tale for us to always know. We don't seek the knowledge of other places against their will, and this is their legend.
What do you know about the encroachment to the west?
He stops for a second, looks back at the vials on the table, picks one up, looks at it, puts it back down, picks up another, and continues until he finds the one that he wants. This comes from a dream given to me. This tells someone's story of something that happened to the west. A cloud of people floated across the land and washed it away like the sea coming up on the shore. When the tide retreated, this cloud went with it. Their land was no more.
How much is that?
One memory.
Do I lose that memory if I give it away?
Yes.
Can I break memories apart?
Every memory is tied into each other. What would happen is you would not have any of the experience or lessons learned from that memory. But in order for it to have value, it must be of use to someone else. If there is something you know how to do, or a knowledge that you have, then this is a way to trade for something new while losing the old.
I'm gonna put up a finger and turn around to Morty.
Morty's like, no. Next thing you know, I'll be forgetting how to poop. I wouldn't do that. Hey, I don't know what this. I've never done this before. You know, what do I know?
I mean, where's your altruistic spirit?
Probably back there with the all falsistic. What does that word even mean? Look, what I'm saying is, no.
Okay. Here's what I'm thinking.
Careful, they can hear you.
No, that's totally fine. This is what I'm thinking though. Oh, I see what you said there. Okay. No, I'm not. I'm speaking it now.
Boy, it's a jungle
We
of vines in that head of yours, isn't it? Look at it all. It's just all over the place.
we may have to go to another continent.
Cool. Where's that?
East.
Okay. Where's that?
Over an ocean.
What's it with the no.
Yeah.
No. Look, don't you remember the last time that we crossed an ocean? I almost drowned, and there was a giant shark. That was a lot of water.
That was a river.
It was well, the river, ocean's the same thing. It's all incredibly dangerous. I can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, in your defense, an ocean is much bigger and much more dangerous, probably. So we may have to do that. Now, here's what I'm thinking. Apparently, they, and I'd like gesture to everybody, were displaced after an ice sort of migration, and then they came back, and then they were displaced by the people who live in the east, and they were not good people, and they eventually retreated back to the east. But they have stories about Deathgloam and the Last Seed and the Hidden Sanctum. So we have to talk to them. Hopefully they won't try to kill us. But the Zorley Riders were already displaced once, and they might be threatening to be displaced again if the encroachment from the west comes this far. So I'm thinking giving this guy one of the memories about like a conversation maybe with the council or the circle of what's going on in the west.
Well, what do you think the best idea is?
Okay, so here's the thing.
I'm not comfortable
I was
with
asked.
this idea.
Well, I was asked by the Circle of the Verdant Dawn to join because of my knowledge, and I know things. And this would be a memory. However, I already know this because I'm the one that told the council about the encroachment. So I might lose that conversation, but I still will know about the encroachment. And maybe I could write it down. I'm going to write it down so that I will remember it forever. And then if I forget it, then it's okay because it's written down. I'll just remember it again.
No, I mean, I think the way that kind of works is that you'll remember that you wrote a note and that was supposed to be something that you once had, but you don't really have it. You just kind of, it's like reading a book and then calling the contents of that book your memory. And not that I read too many books, but I have read a book. It was a really good book.
But if I read, but if I, see, I could give them the note. I could give him the note, but then it wouldn't be as valuable as a memory. So I don't think he would want that. Would you take it?
Over his shoulder, you can see the old woman like slowly floating, and she just has her hands like gently clasped in front of her, and she stops a little bit of a distance away, not trying to hide herself at all, but rather observing your progress in this new world.
Oh, hold on. I did something twice and learned something twice. I could give him my memory of the second time I helped Avianth and learned about the sanctum, because we talked about the encroachment and why I was there. So it'd have like my whole journey, and I could just give that to him because I've done that already.
All right. Okay.
So it's like an extra memory, so I don't need it anymore.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm gonna turn around and look at the guy. How about I take that one with the cloud people, and I give you one about.
You see an older hand come over yours, ushering your hand away. That was the one that was pointing at it.
Mm-hmm.
And the older woman looks at you and smiles. And she reaches into a pouch and pulls out a small dance, a child that looks a little bit like the old woman. A dance that she learned a long time ago that her arthritic hips, or spiritually arthritic hips, can no longer do. She takes it and she holds it out to the vendor. The vendor looks at it and blinks, realizing its significance, and puts down the vial he was going to give you and reaches back for one that is slightly darker in shade. You can see it's almost like it has darker clouds on the upper portion of the inside of the vial. And he hands that to the woman. And she looks at it. And without a second guess, or without a second thought, hands the other one over. He takes it, holds it gently in his hand, picks up another vial, and you can see it just drift in like a smoke in reverse. And then it comes to occupy it until now you see a small child learning how to dance in a vial. And he caps it and nods to her and puts it back. And she turns and she gives that one to you.
Wait, did she? Hold on, I'm gonna cry. Did she just give? Why would you do that?
You see thoughts begin to appear over her head. And what you see is, looking at it from head on, a single memory of an entire lifetime. And then you see it turn a little bit and you see it goes back for so long. And it's almost like watching each preceding frame within a movie. And you see she has millions, like everyone else, millions of memories, most of them completely forgotten. What she gave to him may be able to benefit someone else that she no longer does. And she's already forgotten so many things, but you're also beginning to realize that a lot of the memories that she has on display before you, it is an entire lifetime that is many lifetimes old. Apparently people age differently here. What's one more?
Holy shit. Bramble is she's gonna look at the trade person, like hold up a hand for her to not go anywhere, and look at the trade person. Do you? Can I have one of those empty one? Like, can you tap a memory for me and I could buy it back and give it to her?
He kind of looks at you like he doesn't understand and says, I will do this for you.
How does it work? I just kind of like slip it in.
No, you give me the memory.
Okay. And Bramble is gonna go back in her brain to like the first time she met Foxglove when they were kids.
Yeah.
And there was the
one who
party.
died?
Yeah. And there was like a party that was in like the town square, and there was a bunch of dancing and stuff, and Bramble was really shy, and Foxglove eagerly like ushered her to like come dance with her. And it's just a memory of just being very like happy and brave. And
You hear, so she's on your right hand side. The guy,
Yeah.
the vendor's in front of you. Morty floats over on your left hand side, and you can hear his gravelly whisper in your left ear. He holds out his hand and he's like, I'm gonna try something here. And he thinks of something and then hands it to you, like obscured from other people's view. And you can see there a very recent memory, like sharpened detail, of the woman looking at you like you're about to insult her for the gift that she gave you and she did not ask for payment.
okay. Okay. And I'll like tuck it back. Never mind.
She smiles and nods. She looks at the vendor and she exchange some kind of communication that is, again, a very brief play out of glyphs and symbols and complex things that represent thoughts and concepts. And you kind of get a glimpse of it all. And it seems to be a catch up of just things that they've done within the past 500 years or whatever, or maybe it was 500 seconds. And she looks around and she sees someone else there, and then you see a second part of her kind of float off for a second and begin interacting with that individual in the distance while she's trying to maintain contact over here. And then you look around and you can see that all of this is happening everywhere. They understand how to walk between worlds here. And a single lifetime apparently doesn't mean much to them.
The way to go east, you all can go up and over. Can I?
Who are you asking that of?
The tradesperson, but I think I'm kind of looking at the woman as well because she's been really helpful in like guiding Bramble.
Yeah, you can do that, but I don't believe that you will be able to get your answers from others.
What?
They are our enemies of history. And that makes us enemies in the present, but that is not really how time works. So hopefully you can spend more time here and learn, but it seems like you have something that you must do. In your own time, these people will be fine. For you.
These people, who do you mean?
Those that live across the way.
They'll be fine for me? Like, they'll speak
You are
with
not,
me?
you are not Zeroily.
Would they objectively be helpful in their stories?
Everyone is different. They will be as helpful as we are, I am sure.
Do you know how long it would take to travel there my way?
Maybe a day.
I like look at Morty and I'm like, I don't think that's how oceans work.
River, ocean, same thing. Dangerous. If it's one day of danger,
would it be? I'm gonna look at the woman now. Would it be? I don't know what I want to ask. I want to say, would it be better for me to just go north and find the sanctum without speaking to them. But I don't think you have the answers for me for that question.
She is looking above and through you at the same time, and you can see the one that was talking to someone else over there disappear and reappear where she is, giving you full attention. She seems to want to explain things in her way, but instead you receive a feeling from her. It is an understanding that no one knows everything. And in order to learn, you must sometimes hear things you don't wish from people you don't want to meet.
I mean, that makes sense. Okay. It was, do you have boats?
Who are you asking this of?
Her.
She ponders the question for a moment and then nods. And you see a memory come up of a shoreline, and you can see large vessels just like sitting in the water on wooden docks.
Where is that?
Oh, she points far. You see the scene shift and where you are, and it is just to the east.
Okay. I think I'm a little confused about how much time is passing. Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? I'm like looking up at the sky.
Yeah, you don't see a sun. But when you ask that question and you begin to concentrate more on the physical world, you kind of see through where you are, and it's distant and vague and constantly obscured by, you know what it's like? You know, on really, really cloudy days, you try looking for the sun. And some days you just can't find it. I mean, you can see the hint of the brightness in a particular cloud or what have you. It's akin to that. Only these clouds are multiple layers of green mists that are swirling around on the horizon. And every now and then you catch a glimpse, but only when you concentrate on those things down there. And the entire of the shoreline. And the entire experience reminds you of what it was like when you first came into the Zoroli Rider territory. And you were like, why is there a wall of grass here? That is not clearly a wall of grass. That does not even make sense. And then you begin to process the information. And once you do that, you begin to realize, right, everything here is mental. And that's when you begin to realize that these people are able to communicate with each other and travel effortlessly simply because they've been doing it since they were kids. And you're just now beginning to use these muscles for the very first time, and you are now a child in their world. So having said that, with a little bit of practice, you kind of get an idea that it is daytime over there, and time seems to be passing at around the same rate as you expect it to be.
Okay. See, I'm a little scared to go to a place where they were so violent towards you, because I am sorely underprepared for any sort of challenge in a new continent. Is there like a physical world town around here, or are all the Zoroli Riders like this?
The vendor standing nearby takes a step forward. I think I can help you. We have villages. It is necessary. People like you come into our land and believe that it is empty, and so we must make a physical presence as well. That is our true home. We have come to live here, though. So, yes, you will find trading posts, and there is a place for the physical world as well.
Okay. Where's the nearest one to the east?
That would be the material capital.
That is...
Doroth Kel.
Ah, I read about that somewhere. Okay. Would they be okay with the Leshy going there and a basilisk? I'm not leaving without him. That's my best friend.
You are
That's
better
a
off
literal ride or
here.
drive.
You are better off here with your friend. There are many much worse things here by comparison. And Morty's like, what? How am I supposed to take that? I don't. Is that a compliment? Is that an insult? Do I eat him? Do I thank him? What do I do?
You are very scary, Morty.
Rawr. He thinks, and it goes out there, and the vendor's kind of like, there are night hags and Zil and other things that are out there. But with your friend down there, he will most likely be put to death.
Well, how am I supposed to get over to the east?
The vendor looks like he's going to say something to you, and then looks over at the old woman, and she looks at you with kind eyes. And that's when you get the impression that there is something waiting for you. You can see a look of answer and youthful exuberance, like her eyes light up just a little bit and keenly focus on yours. And she gets this wonderful, delightful little smile on her face, like, I have an answer for you.
Great.
She begins floating away.
I'm like running, but it's like in place, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Morty's like, so what did you get in the thingahoosies?
I'm gonna look later. Barbara, don't drink this, and I'm gonna put it in the bag.
Okay.
And then grab Morty's hand and like be like, come on, let's go.
Which one? He has 8.
The one that's at my level that he can, he doesn't have to like reach or dip down too much.
Sure, it's the third one on the left. So
third one on the left.
He's got a cast of extras as his hands. So yeah, so you end up going. She, within a blink of an eye, you see that she's back at the yurt. The yurt was always exactly where you were, but it wasn't there. You're beginning to realize that time and space kind of really act in odd fashions here. Travel can be rather quick from point to point if you view it that way, but without the space in between the 2 points. You're beginning to understand that there's a little bit to it, and Morty is like, oh God, my brain hurts. And when you finally get there, you realize you didn't really travel a huge distance. You traveled what you thought you needed to travel based upon the visual information you received, which isn't even there. Exactly. Everything's in your mind. It's not, it's not visual. So when you come back, she draws out, or rather displays in front of you, an entire land. And the land itself, I mean, you're looking at something that is, you can feel the heartbeat of the land start coming up. And you begin feeling like the vibe of the Zerali riders out there on the vast steppes that extend from one place to another, from far to the north to even further down to the south. And you see hordes riding over hills and dale. You see massive steppes with it, like clouds of animals moving around. And the scene begins to shift just a little bit. and it goes down to a place that doesn't exist in the physical world, but she shows you where it is. And then she brings silence to the scene and shifts it back to overlay, if you will, the ethereal reality that also coexists in that same location. This is a dark place. It's a horrific place. And you can see yourself now. She points down at a memory of you walking through. You remember that step where you almost fell when you first came into this roily area, just out of the hills where the owl bears were, after you got Zara's star. After you found this and that, and you started traveling, and you begin to realize, oh my God, I've been walking forever, and my legs are sore, and you remember that look. And then she takes that almost like a cut and paste and puts it into the scene. And now you see a yurt, and you come out of the yurt, walking this distance, and winds are battering you, but they're all ethereal, and all of them are memories and hardships and lessons to be learned. And you can see yourself going through this roily civilization that is just outside the yurt, but also within the yurt. All that. And you find yourself being held back by these winds, these constant winds. And you realize each and every single one of them are the fears that have been put inside of you by others. You realize that none of these winds were yours. And she looks back upon the paths that, of all the decisions that you had to make in order to get to where you were, one very large path that was a difficult one to get to from your past. And it was a conversation you had with the elders back in Willowbark Thicket, where they weren't willing to do anything about an incursion of immortal people coming into the lands of nature. And then all of this could be clear cutting and strip mining forever. And there was nothing of it. And then she points at the vial in your hand. She gestures.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna smell it. What does it smell like?
Oh, you open it. There's no smell. There's no molecules.
Do I just drink it? I'm asking her.
She looks at it and taps her ethereal head. Her eyes are like locked on yours.
Okay. I'm gonna like hold it here, and I'm just gonna like think really hard about the cloud.
And it immediately starts coming out.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna close my eyes again really tight because I don't want to like disturb its process.
That's okay. You don't have eyelids here, so you see it anyway.
Oh God. Oh my God, it's a Clockwork Orange nightmare.
So the world around you begins to blur and fade. And instead it's replaced by a vast panoramic landscape. And the horizon stretches infinitely, but it's not the familiar steps that you've come to know. And instead you see sprawling cities with towering spires, shadows from those stretching across the land like dark fingers reaching. And the once verdant fields that were in that area now choked with smoke and ash. The air thick, the cacophony of civilization and progress. You're drawn closer to one of those cities, and the vision leads you to believe, and the details become a little bit clearer. The streets are bustling with people, and there's a palpable tension in the air. Soldiers are marching in formation, and their armor gleaming in harsh sunlight beating down on them. You see sweat coming down on their temples. Merchants are hawking their wares with a desperate fervor. Children, their faces completely smeared with grime, and they begin darting between stalls, their laughter, an absolute contrast to the weariness that each of those children carry in their eyes. And then suddenly the scene shifts, and you're hovering above a grand council chamber. And leaders from various empires sit around a massive table, and their faces a mixture of greed and ambition. Maps are spread out before them, and they argue heatedly, and their fingers like scabbing at territories and lands, claiming them as their own. An entire millennia of war laid out in front of you. And the vision pulls back, and you can see the borders of these empires beginning to expand and swallowing up smaller communities and tribes. And the riders, once free to roam these steppes, you see that even they are now hemmed in, and their movement restricted. Ethereal cities, all of this, once a beacon of hope and freedom. You see it all come under threat, their very existence at risk. And as the vision fades, there's one memory that remains. It's less a vision. This apparently came from someone who understood what was going to happen and looked at the past and turned the present into symbology and forecasted for the future and put it all in a bottle. And with it, one little message of emotion, but not words, a profound sense of loss and urgency. The encroachment of these empires, their insatiable hunger for land and power, threatens not just the riders, but the balance of nature itself.
Okay. I'm going to... Wait, are you... I have to go east. I just have to.
She looks back down, and with a mental gesture, you see the visions of a memory, of a vision she once had that was just recently bottled until now, begin to fade. And you can see yourself walking with all of that on you. And with each step, with the winds and the pressure now you're beginning to feel, you see the scene before you updated. These winds, which are blasting you in the face and almost preventing you from moving forward, are now joined by the memory you just gained of the visions that the seers before you once had and had put into a bottle so others can learn from it. And she looks back down, and you can see yourself moving forward against these winds. And each step, you grow a new vine, and your legs become a little stronger. And you begin noticing of how your feet are navigating a difficult terrain. Rocks are here and high underbrush over here, where your own vines and leaves kind of get tangled and taut and pulled at by other things. And then when you come up against, you see what appears to be a small statue, at least at the distance. And you see the scene begin to grow, so you can begin to see the details, and you see that it is her. And she holds out a hand, just like she does in real life, standing beside you, holding out a hand. And you feel like your legs have gotten a little bit stronger, that you begin to understand what it is that you need to do. And this is to face your own fears. You need to do that. You have to undergo a process of self-discovery and learning. In order for you to become better, you need to gain the experience. And taking shortcuts will never provide you that strength. You are granted Show the Way, a 3rd level Druid spell.
Holy shit. I wasn't expecting that. Hold on, I'm gonna fucking add that to my thing.
I got it. You.
Thank you.
Yeah, you roleplay.
Holy shit. Okay. So if I have to go across the ocean and I have have to prepare myself for that journey. And I have to go with Morty. But I don't want to go to a place that he's going to be murdered. Sorry, Morty.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Where do I need to go where Morty will be safe? I don't care how long it takes. Or not necessarily safer than the alternative.
She seems steeled. And you can see a little bit of vibrancy of the Zorali spirit begin rising up in her. And it's almost like it's filling her from the ground or from the outside in. Like her skin gets a little bit more ethereal, but no, it's not. It's almost like the mist that you and everyone else is now made up of kind of coalesces until it begins to turn solid, and you find yourself standing on the floor of the yurt. And she's standing and looking at you. And the map that was displayed out in front of you is now an unfurled animal skin on which a map of the area is displayed. And she shows you that point that in the distance looks like a blank portion of the map, but in the ethereal realm, it was covered in black. She points at you and points at that area. And you can also see that there's a sea. It's an inland sea. Well, not an inland sea. It's more of a bay that you have to cross in order to get into that distant land.
Is that another continent, or is that just the... Because Bramble has seen this map before. Is that the bay that I have to cross the one that's north?
Well, she points at the map, and you can see that the waters of Cicerus Kill, which is the land you would have to go through in order to go all the way around. Those waters that feed the marshes of Cicerus Kill to the north are the same waters that go to the east. So it's all one body of water.
Okay. And then that goes out into the ocean, right? That's
far out to the east. Yeah, where she's indicating on the map is your ultimate destination would be to the northeast, but first you have to go east across the water and then head over.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Erin's a little confused.
Sure, I'll show you a map.
Okay.
How's that? Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, one second. In fact, if you open up Foundry, you can see the map.
Yeah, it's really dark for me because the only thing that's illuminated is her path.
Oh yeah, sure. One second. Let me open that up for you real quick. Hold on.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it is a by the way, you have now innate spellcasting. So, and you'll find that under your spellcasting tab. Okay. Yeah, you got it. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's bring this over. So it appears a little bit on the darker side. Hold on. And let me do what I need to. Hold on. Okay, we're going to... This is not meant to keep you in ignorance. It's just meant to... There we go. Okay, so that's a little bit lighter. So you can now see where you are. Okay.
Yes.
The Core Tama Yurt. You can see where Dorith Kell is. Okay, here's the body of water. Here's that other land.
Hold on, you're pointing and I don't see you pointing.
Ah, I apologize.
Thank you.
Okay, so here you are. Here's Dorith Kell. Okay, here's the water. Here's the other land.
Okay, that's where I need to go.
Yeah, if you were to go up and around, you would end up going up through Cicerus Kill, continue up north through the marshes, cross that river, and then you can come into Deathgloom. So you do have options, but they're saying that you can get more answers over here in this place.
Oh, so the dreamer people don't live on the other continent.
No, that was you that said other continent. You inserted that into the discussion. Sorry.
That's okay. No, because I was like, whoa, that's a journey.
No.
Okay, cool. Well, I look at Morty, I'm like, man, this is so much better than the ocean. We only have to go across a bay. That's like 7 rivers.
Yeah, that's also 7 sharks. I'm still not down for it. By the way, how the hell did we get back here? Because all of a sudden I'm very heavy and I'm beginning to realize exactly how empty my stomach is. I'll be right back. And he just like goes outside. Like, hey, moo cow thing, come here.
Oh no.
And here.
I'm sorry. He is going to turn one of your cows into stone and eat it now.
Unfazed, continues to look at you. She has probably seen death in its many forms within nature. Everything needs to eat.
Yeah. Okay. So I shouldn't go. I'm like looking at the map, and I say like I shouldn't go to Dorith Kell because Morty will die. But we should go across to.
She stops you with a hand out, points at you, and then points to that shoreline where that blackened area was. I'm gonna show it on the map here real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Pulling this up, she is indicating this right here. I'm gonna circle it for you.
Okay.
There's something there. I mean, it's just on this map, it just looks like a building, but she's indicating that there's something there that you're going to need to face off against.
Okay. Okay, I could do that. Can I sleep here another night?
She looks around at the yurt, which isn't still physical. She is, you are and the ground is, but the yurt isn't. And she kind of shrugs, not quite understanding if you understand the situation you're in. You're not really in the physical realm, and you're not going to be protected by a semi-transparent yurt.
No, you're right. It's probably like, yeah, I should probably get moving. I could start moving now.
Okay. What do you do?
Well, thank you for your help.
She nods. And she takes her finger for a moment. And you could tell she's gentle. She truly is. And she reaches out and points in the middle of your chest, and then using that knowledge of how to bring thoughts into how to make manifest thoughts, she then draws a line from here to your head and then down to your shoulders and to your feet and all out there. And the whole of it just ends up forming a shield. In short, it's just a series of lines. And she, in a way, steals it. And you see that what she's doing is not casting a spell. She's not providing you with a buff, but rather politely trying to remind you that you created this shield that protects you against the world. And you can see that the shield is made up of your various experiences, and you see yourself against those winds. And you also see a defiant little pixie in a swamp somewhere that was trying to tell you about the wizards. You also see the Verdant Dawn and the Council. You see pictures of waterfalls, and comes all the way back to Willowbark Thicket and Foxglove and that ranger. And the first time that you ever found that trinket with the leaf on it, and it brings you all the way back. And then prior to that, where there was a construction that was taking place, and this would eventually turn into your archives, and now you spent all your time learning and this and the other. And then in that broad tapestry that your life and your decisions have painted before you, the yurt and you walking to it is one incredibly small part. And you realize that paths converge because of the decisions that you have each made. And she, in her lifetime, also made decisions that brought her to where she is. So to thank her for her time is like saying, thank you for living your entire life for me. No, it's a happy circumstance that you two met and she was able to assist. And in a way, perhaps you were also able to teach her something. These are not people of this world, you've come to realize. The Zorley Riders, once thought as this barbaric tribal people constantly out there on horses and your typical... No. No. They are riders. But they are riders between worlds. And they have a lot of wisdom behind them.
Okay. I think Bramble's gonna like turn to go and then like run up really quick and give her a quick hug.
She takes it and
then,
returns it.
And then I'm gonna leave.
Okay. All right. You do.
And I'm gonna run up to Morty as he's like finishing off the tail of a stone cow.
Oh, no, it's not the tail. I mean, you see, it's like the body has already been broken into parts, and it's like, he turns around and he's just got like this stone leg. And the interesting thing is that as he bites into it, the rock crumbles into his mouth, but it's almost melting back into flesh once it mixes with his saliva. Oh, it's nasty.
Yeah.
It's nasty.
Yeah. I don't like that. I didn't like it the first time you said it, and I don't like it.
Yeah, he just kind of like looks at you, and you just see like a smear of like just a smear of blood across his entire, and he's just like, and he turns around. Just show you want some. It's actually kind of good. It gives you your minerals.
No.
Minerals.
No? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Those.
And he
really
just turns
funny.
away and goes right back to it.
Well, we're leaving now, so
You're leaving. I'm eating. I haven't had a meal in since you and I were like hanging out with each other. Give me a moment. I'm enjoying this.
Okay. All right.
And you can see in the distance some of the other dusk horns are like looking at this going, fucking nature. And it's just gonna start going away.
I'm gonna be way over here out of earshot, buddy. You just come over here when you're done.
Yeah, I'll fly over there. Oh, fuck, that's why I have to use my legs now. All right, fine, I'll catch up with you.
Okay, cool. So I'll wait for Morty, but I'm not gonna leave without him.
Okay, all right, not a problem. He finishes up rather quickly. He's fairly efficient. And what he ends up leaving behind just end up looking like small little rock piles.
Okay.
And he comes over and he's like, he's got two of his legs and they're kind of cleaning his face and wiping things off. And he like gets down into the grass and kind of like, gets grass and bits on his face. And he's like, since meeting you, I've kind of wondered whether or not it hurts them. They don't feel a thing. Does that make you feel better?
How do you I don't want to know how you know that. Thanks for trying to make me feel better, though.
Yeah, sure. And he just starts walking past you.
Hold on, I need a ride.
Oh, yeah. Come on back.
I'm gonna climb up on him.
So you get out there, and it is hours of journeying when you finally make it out. There's a presence in this land that is undeniably foreign. These people live and die by the earth, but so much more. And to them, death is something that happens to a body. You begin to realize that, like, your vision is still somewhat skewed by your experiences where you were. And you understand that what these people have done is find a way to essentially live forever. Memory continues on for as long as people can recall it. And so do the people who created those memories. And so when they say, and this is you continuing, and these are the thoughts that are coming up in various discussions that you and Morty might be having.
Mm-hmm.
You can, and this is as you pass their capital, which is really nothing more than just a trading post of what have you. Now it's to the north. It was off to the northeast. Now it's to the north, and then soon enough it's off to the northwest, until finally it's west of you.
Mm-hmm.
And the sun comes down, and you end up camping underneath these beautiful stars. But again, at night, clouds begin to whir up, and now that you're sensitive to it, you see what they are. It's other planes and the things that happen there, and all other worlds that are always around you. Always. And they affect this world too, but you don't really recall it. But then you realize that these people have. And while it's easy to forget about just and only think about those things directly in front of you, you begin to realize that all of your actions are like, oh my God, it all leads to different places, and every single one was a lesson. And you recall all of that. So congratulations on your 6th level.
Yay!
And what changes have you made to Bramble to reflect those experiences?
Ooh, so this one was a tough one because because I'm not expert in a lot of stuff or trained in things that I want to be trained in.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the feats that are higher level and more interesting, you have to be one of those too.
Okay.
So I picked reach spell.
Okay.
Because there were a couple times when I had wanted to cast something, but I was just short of the distance. So I think she would have been like, the sense of urgency kind of pulled her to extend her spell casting ability.
Okay.
So now she has reach and widen. So it's extended by 30 feet and widened
Ooh.
by, I know. And if it's a touch spell, it is now a 30-foot spell. That's pretty fucking dope.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. She also has another level 3 spell slot. So I had a few backups. So I took out Stinking Cloud and I put in Mind of Menace, and then I added Blazing Dive.
Oof,
So
okay.
she is now from the experience of like floating and like thinking a direction and gliding there.
Mm-hmm.
She is Blazing Dive, which means she'll shoot up in the air by 15 feet and then like a comet, like on fire hit an area within 60 feet, and then it gives, I think it's like 3, hold on, it's really fucking powerful. It's 3d6 fire damage and 3d4 bludgeoning damage.
Oh my God. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, good for you. All righty.
Mm-hmm. And then the last thing she picked was skill training. So I added medicine, since she's been untrained in medicine this whole time.
Seriously. So now you have a little bit of like treat wounds or what have you.
Yeah, I think that came from the desperation of seeing Avianth die, and she was like, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, that is just not good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Totally cool. Let's see here. The new spell that you gained, let's put this into action. So first off, it's you and Morty.
Mm-hmm.
You begin to see the world as a very complex place, and that the material plane is really just a physical manifestation of other people's dreams and thoughts, including that of Nordaga, who kind of fashioned all of this, and then more was it Sithleo or this? So there's still a lot of complexity going on there. But armed with this knowledge, you now both have, thanks to you, not Morty, he didn't gain it, he just is experiencing it with you. You now have this preternatural knowledge of the path ahead, and it does allow you to intuitively know which the best way is forward, and to avoid potential obstacles such as difficult or confusing terrain. Now I'm going to read directly from it. For the purpose of long distance overland travel during exploration mode, which is what you're in right now, traveling through difficult terrain reduces you to only 3/4 of your travel speed instead of half, and traveling through greater difficult terrain reduces your travel speed to half instead of 1/3. So Show the Way does not prevent you from falling into traps or encountering other artificial obstacles or hazards. So it hastens your journey by just a little bit, allowing you to spend less time traveling through difficult places. Once you have it heightened, it'll then reduce those times even more.
That's really funny because I was going to pick, there was a mount feat you could pick where your mount is faster, and I was gonna pick it, and I was like, no,
cool.
I kind of like going kind of like the speed I'm going. So
Yeah,
it's really funny that I got.
It's ponderous, but it's fun. You know, you're kind of doing okay. So let's see. There's, by the way, draw on. There's a world building channel in our Discord server. Just head over there, buddy. So you begin making your way east, and you estimate at about a half a day's journey out. You pass the night. It was not an issue. There's a presence in the land now that is not there in the physical realm. And while your ability to see into the ethereal plane is a little bit hindered through your own experiences and you know, lack of practice, you do begin picking up that there's an issue with the land that exists beyond this world in this area. And this is kind of what she may have been talking about. First off, the land itself shifts to a forest that is quite familiar to you. You can see it. You see the physical realm, which is bare. It's steppes. And you see open skies up ahead and a little bit of like a shimmer of what might be water just due to the slight elevation that you have in the land. And you're kind of looking down at it. But you see ahead of you a familiar forest from your childhood. And you can hear the distant laughter of children. But as you approach, their faces begin to blur and distort, and their laughter starts turning into cries of distress. What are you doing?
I'm gonna try to like think my way out of that plane to focus on the physical plane and see if I'm able to, if it's able to get pushed away.
That's when you can see her face as a much more recent memory that you need to strengthen your muscles before you continue to go find the last seed.
Whose face?
The old woman's. She's pointing at that dot on the map at you, and the dot on the map, you have that memory of her doing that.
Oh, okay. So like as I'm like trying to like push it away, and I could feel her like kind of stopping me.
No, she's not stopping. It was just a memory that you had, that she made a comment. You need to work your way towards this. Essentially, you need to strengthen your resolve, and you're gonna have to come across those things that are that are difficult in order for you to get past.
Yeah. So as I'm like recalling that, instead of trying to distort that plane out of existence so that it's like safe for Bramble, I think she's going to try to undistort the distorted faces to see if she could clearly, like if she can like, if they could become clearer to her.
Yeah, no problem. How is it that you would want to do that, considering what you see before you are children or younger Leshy and other Fey-like spirits or nature spirits, including some arboreals? These are from your past. How do you plan on making that memory clear?
I'm gonna try to spot the one that has a little orange hat.
You don't see it. It is from your perception. Are you referring to yourself back in those days?
Yeah, I thought I was seeing
this
like
is
an
your
outside...
No, this is not a movie of your history. This is your history.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I can I tell what I was can I like recall what I was doing during this memory?
Yeah, you do recall that you were in here playing. And this, what's happening to them is not exactly a it's not exactly a memory. It seems to be more of a circumstance, like the past and the present kind of converging, and this situation is now here. So it's a dense, like ethereal farce before you, and it, with every single step that you're taking forward, it's like shimmering and shifting and here and there. This wasn't all part of your childhood. This is the now. So it's almost like your past was conjured up into this, but you're still living it in the present. In other words, it's fucking with your head. And the trees are tall and ancient, just like they were back then. Their leaves, though, are now like this translucent silver that kind of rustles like with like an otherworldly sound. And the ground is soft, unlike the steps that you were just on. And it is covered in a blanket of luminescent moss that kind of gives off a nice little gentle glow, which is eerie as fuck because all the kids' faces are illuminated from underneath. When you can see them coming towards you, and all of them, like some, begin to almost ask questions. Why did you leave us behind? You promised we'd always be together. Do you even remember my name?
Of course I do.
They look at you expectantly, and with every single passing second, the anxiety of your answer just weighs heavier and heavier on them.
Foxglove, that's you.
You see one pop out. Yeah, I died.
Not now, though. I mean, then, but not for a while.
It begins, and you can see Foxglove becoming twisted and unclear.
But you're not now. You're safe now.
And you can see that she's like, you're beginning to, you know what? Give me what do you want to roll for this? This is a good one.
I think I want not nature. Hold on a second. I want to do this right.
Okay.
I think I want to roll Arcana.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's occultism. I think it'd be Arcana.
Occultism is the magic that exists between the planes.
Oh, I want to roll occultism.
Okay. All right. Not a problem.
Is a awful modifier, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
I got a 16.
16. Wow. Okay. You begin realizing that all of your words are not validating their experience. You say, yeah, but you're better now. Not according to that spirit, who is every single time that you refuse what it is that has happened. You see an empty path. There's no line in between you and them. And you kind of get the feeling that you were there. And maybe you could do something. Maybe there's a path or a decision that you'd be able to make that in order to be able to resolve them. It's the past, but you're now living in the present. What would you do to solve Foxglove's problem if the past happened today?
Oh, the problem of being murdered? Oh, I think Bramble realizes in that moment that I can't. I can't stop. I'm sorry you were a martyr, but I can't prevent your murder, or I wouldn't be here. Because if you hadn't died, we wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have sparked our village is threatened and we have to go. And then I realized that the humans are encroaching. It just would have stalled that. And then I'd still be there, but then we'd all be in danger.
And with every
Imminently.
thought that you have, you can see these things becoming manifest. That if I had done this, and then there's a worry on the face of those that are listening. It's something that is very evident. Their worry is contained in your words, and every time, oh, if I only, you can see weighs down on them. They're beginning to realize that they can never be saved by you. Give me a will save.
Yeah. Okay. Nat 20. I got a 33.
Okay, I'm gonna go heavy on this. All right.
Okay. All right.
Bramble steals against it. So this is the scene, but Bramble will be okay. All right? Are you okay with this? I'm going to bring this down heavy.
Yeah.
Every single doubt that you are casting at them right now is like poniards, pointing and digging into their flesh. And every single word that you use in order to back up each of those claims, all you're doing is just dragging those daggers down in their body and stretching their flesh out and making the wounds even larger, deeper, and bleed with sorrow and fear even more. And every single thing, oh, I wish I could have, but there's nothing that I can do about your current condition. Their current condition is right now. And you are so fucking blind you don't even realize that. That's the impression that you're getting from them. But Bramble begins to realize you do have the power to change the present with the lessons of the past. How could you prevent Foxglove's death before Foxglove dies again?
Come home?
You see Foxglove in the woods now, like suddenly appearing completely undistorted, and begins looking around. And in the distance, you can see that there's a figure, well, in a robe, tall, approaching the area where Foxglove is. You remember... Go ahead.
I'm going to I want to confirm that this kind of ethereal plane manifests things the same way as where I just came from. So I'm going to open my hand and like will acorn bread as like a tiny quick test.
You do. It's there. It's in your hand.
Okay. Hold on. Darian, what are you doing here? And I look at the
and immediately a distort face, just like it comes right back. What? Oh, and then the figure then changes from a child to... I came from here from the west. I'm passing through, and I apologize if I've offended your people.
No, you didn't. It's okay. I'd like to hire you to protect my friend Foxglove. And
immediately you see the figure of Darian the ranger disappear from where you were just talking to him, and now you see him standing like standing like this. Only one hand is on the hilt, is on the handle of his blade, and his bow is now leaning. It's like slung over his shoulder as opposed to across his body. And then you see the figure appear in the distance, and he examines the figure in the distance, which turned out to be, do you remember?
Yeah, two kobolds in a trench coat.
And was it kobolds?
Or was it kobolds or was it Leshy? There were other Leshy. No, was it kobolds?
You see now you see two kobolds, and Darian's kind of looking at it going, okay, I don't know what kobolds are doing here, but he then steps in front of Foxglove, and you hear that shing of his blade come out and come to rest before him. And then the kobolds like break apart. An entire pack of kobolds comes down, runs over all of them, and they are about to ensue in a massive battle. Is that your memory?
No.
And Morty's like looking at you going, holy shit, did that actually happen? Those things are fucking nasty.
No, that's not what happened. It wasn't two kobolds. It was just two Leshy from the village to the north. But we killed them.
And you see all the kobolds go and just like fade away into nothing. And then you see two Leshy, like one sitting on the shoulders of the other, both of them wearing a giant like Rangers type of cloak. And they come into the area, and he goes, wait a second, that's my cloak. And he runs forward and rips the cloak off of them, revealing the two. The top one like tumbles down. They immediately draw a blade and with stabbing motion starts coming towards him, and he ends up
winning because we fought you and you died.
And Foxglove looks back at you. You did it! Yeah. And her voice is clear and it's crystal. Your friend is there, and the children no longer twisted and distorted, these distorted echoes of the past. Instead, that begins to fade away, and you find the ground in front of you change yet again. You continue, you and Mortimer, and the forest gives way to a vast, open field. And in the distance, two paths diverge. One, the sun is shining on. It's bright, it's sunny, and the other is dark and foreboding. And shadowy figures beckon from each of the paths, calling you forward.
Oh, I definitely remember this from earlier. She's gonna go towards the light.
Okay, describe your interaction with these figures.
As I get closer, do they take a more familiar shape? Like, do I recognize them, or are they still kind of just like shadowy?
Kind of shadowy. They seem to be more representing, and as you get closer, you can kind of hear things and decisions and words that you had in your head about certain life choices.
Oh, what's the life choice that the light path shadow is giving me?
Well, you begin receiving information, like you look at it and you can see around it like grass is growing up out of the ground, and as it does, as a new plant, it kind of pushes a small pebble out of the way, and then with that you see like a small trickle of a stream come down next to it, and that moves more pebbles out of the way. And then you kind of like behind it, you see like a river flowing through, and slowly the rock kind of gives away. And you see over the course of time an entire landscape begin to change. And the kid like looks at you and is like, the world is changing, always changing. Can't you see the potential of the new? And over on the dark path, you see, yes, but the old ways have served us well. Why abandon them now?
I'm gonna look at both of them. I'm gonna say, does the new way push people who have been there for centuries out, or as you kind of form these questions, you realize that they look three-dimensional to you, but they are simple slivers, like two-dimensional projections in this area, indicating that there is nothing beyond this point that they understand. They don't know what lies beyond. They only know what is in the now for them. Okay.
So you can feel it. Yeah, you do feel like the weight of a decision pressing down on you. They're awaiting. Now, the one that talked about the old ways, that's like a serene elder, and you kind of picture it as one of the elders in the village, but it's not an elder in the village. You know, when you have a dream, it's like, I know it's you, but you don't look anything like you. Instead, you're just a banana shake. Yeah, it just doesn't make any difference. But they stand there as like a beacon of tradition and wisdom. And they're standing behind a path that leads to a city, like bathed in a gentle golden light. And the youth, vibrant and full of life and full of energy and promise and other stuff like that, is standing on a path, and that one leads to a city illuminated by a shimmering dynamic radiance. Which one do you want to look down? Well, actually, which one do you want to step on?
I think Bramble is like understanding that they really only know what the present is.
Yep.
And in her mind, she needs the light or she'll die because she's a plant. So she's like, well, now I need to do what's best for me so that I can move forward, and I'm going to go towards the light.
Which one? One has a... Oh, the path with the kid?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, not a problem. So you step on that path, and they just disappear. And you pass through the child. And the path in front of you, you can feel a surge of energy that just begins rising up inside of you. And the shimmering light around it begins to dance around you as well, invigorating your senses and filling you with like an absolute sense of wonder. And then in front of you, some of that light then coalesces and whirls around until finally you see that youth again, and he's grinning and eyes like sparkling with excitement. You've chosen a path of change and innovation, of constant learning, and his voice is vibrant. And he's like, now you need to embrace the possibilities of the future. And then he just like points down the path, and it's like it disappears. The voice that you heard coming from him sounded distinctly human.
Oh.
About how the future is in your own hands. And now you are on a path of claiming that which may not initially, anyway, belong to you. And so when you talk about progress and things like that, you begin to realize, okay. But as you proceed, there are visions of new horizons, but are also filled with doubt and fear of the new. You can feel that rising up in you, and there's groundbreaking discoveries that begin unfolding all around you. But now all of a sudden you're like bolstered with that quick little thing and with the quick memories of the Zroyli Riders that you are now leaving behind. And now you had favorable interaction with these people. And you're beginning to understand that there is also boundless potential if the Zroyli Riders also do the same. And all this begins to fill your thoughts, and a city gleams ahead with promise, its radiant towers a testament to progress and innovation. Is it good? Is it bad?
I think she's gonna continue the train of thought of like the complacency back home is what was gonna get us all killed. So she's gonna like, that's the thought she's hanging on to, is like sometimes the old ways are just old and dated and you have to move forward. That doesn't mean claiming what's not yours. That simply means moving forward with what you have.
Okay. So
oh god.
That's all right. Everything's a choice, right? You keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
There's a vast open expanse that you acknowledge is within the ethereal realm. The ground itself now seems to be made of a reflective mirror-like substance. And as you walk, the mirror begins to show distorted reflections of your past actions and decisions and consequences that Bramble brought. And they aim to sow doubt. You understand that. When you made that will save, you became a little bit more steeled and a little bit more confident, and you begin to understand that the entire purpose of this is a challenge. I've got a hair stuck on my face somewhere.
I noticed.
Oh my god, it's like that's somewhere. But nonetheless, every time that you begin questioning a choice and you begin realizing that this is a difficult thing, this is, here you are, you're branching out, into your own, and you are now doing things that other people didn't have to do. And here is Morty, and he's not exactly helpful, and he's not the wisest. He's intelligent, but he's not the wisest of things. And he's always carrying a seed of doubt along with him. But you, even with the presence of that, but you choose to look at him as a friend, and you say, I'm not going to go anywhere without him. You steal your thoughts once again. And then you step in. And the ground beneath your feet feels oddly solid, yet slightly yielding, like the surface of a still pond. You look down, and as I described, you see your own reflection, and staring back. But it's not just a simple reflection. It begins to shift and change, showing you moments from your past, and you see yourself making decisions and taking actions and the ripples that they caused. And some memories are of joy and success, like the one that you just had, where you were able to save your friend. Does that mean that your friend is now there? Is Foxglove back? Is that a possibility? But the reflections then become more intense, showing you faces of those that you've hurt or disappointed. The elders who believe that this entire mission is nothing it's just foolish. Your own friends who laughed at you for wanting to study mortal culture outside of the realm of nature. All of these things, it's just the weight of your past choices. They begin to wear down on you, making each step that you take feel like a struggle, which is exactly what that woman showed you. And then whispers begin to fill the air, echoing doubts. Was it worth it?
Could you have done better?
Are you even worthy of your quest? And all of these things begin to grow louder and more insistent in trying to drown out your own confidence. Give me wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, which one? That's not a thing. Fortitude, reflex, or will?
Will, I'm sorry. I meant will. Wow, I just totally dipped into 5e realm for a moment.
We went to a whole other plane.
Oh, it's a whole different world.
Oh wait, that's not too bad. It's a 15.
Yeah, that's you barely scrape by, and that. So answering the first question, was it worth it?
I didn't have a choice. It is what it is.
That's to say that you're willing to accept it.
Well, I have to accept it, but that doesn't mean I have to accept what I make what choice I make in the future.
Yeah, but is it ever going to actually do anything?
It might.
It might. You're willing to risk your own life and the lives of others that you so foolishly put at risk just so you can save yourself.
Well, I look at Mortimer and I'm like, he chose to be here. I didn't make him. And yeah, I risked my life. I almost died a couple times, and I looked at my arm that's been growing back several times over. It's like a baby arm. I'm like, yeah, I've risked a lot to be here, and I'll do it. I'll risk some more, but I'm not making other people or creatures risk their lives.
The voice in front of you continues prattling on, trying to undermine everything that you're saying about your own decisions. And when you said he made his own choices, Morty slowly comes up alongside you. And he's like, I chose my path to be with you. And he's also looking at this. Your saving throw causes you to succeed, but barely.
Mm-hmm.
A new voice, now that you've squashed that one down, comes out. Could you have done it better? Is there another way that you could have done this that didn't lead to Abianth almost dying? You should have left well enough alone.
Well, yeah, I could have done better. But I'm here now. What do you want from me?
Make a will save. This is a 16.
30, baby! I'm like, what do you want from me?
Are you serious? You got a 30?
Yeah, I got a 30. I'm an expert in my will save. It's plus 13.
So immediately in front of you, you begin receiving visions of the outcome of every single decision that you've made up to this point on this particular journey, and each and every single one of them has been fucking solid. And then you see that one of the wise people, you don't even know her name, just like completely backed your decisions and even gave you something to assist your journey. All of that, was it worth? It gets completely like, it just smashes in front of you. But then
one of my vines reaches out and flicks it.
and as your vine goes through and the smoke of the past begins to dissipate, you see another face. But are you even worthy of your quest? You remember talking to the village elders and putting it out there that this was going to be something that you needed to do, and they were really unsure. And they kept doubting you. You've never even been outside of Willowbark Thicket. Could you even possibly succeed?
Well, how do you think I got here?
Yes, sheer luck. How many times did you run into things that chose not to kill you merely because you're so cute? How many times have you had to rely on that, huh? Did you give me a will save?
Yeah.
This one's a 17.
Hey. Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna say, hey.
Wait, what number? What number? You gotta tell us.
22.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I'm harmlessly cute, and I could do anything. And it's not like there's something out there that's rolling these dice and causing these numbers to happen to see if I'm gonna make it or not. I'm making these choices all on my own. And I smack it in the face with my vine.
How dare you? Do you think these are the ways that are tried and proven? Humanity can never crush nature. Nature shall always prevail. And
Why are you still talking?
Remind me to not do that voice again. God, it hurts me.
Oh, no.
So, while it's screaming at you and you give it a barrage of just absolute surety and confidence, that one shatters in front of you. And what do? The path looks like it continues.
Oh, I keep going.
Okay. All right. Remember the amount of times that you've been out camping in the steppes of this area. You find yourself looking out on the distance. The woods, the forest that you had seen from your own past now evaporates and turns into something that you have seen. When it shifts, you see now in front of you an entrance. It looks like hedges, the same kind of thing that you saw before. And in this case, you see an entrance, and directly beyond that, like a pathway that goes left and right, and beyond that, a wall, indicating that's the only way that you can go once you enter into this. And you realize that these walls are high. I mean, they are higher than anything else, but they're also made of like a translucent material that seems to like shimmer and pulse with life. And you step forward into it, and the path behind you now vanishes, leaving only one way to proceed. Forward. First you had choices, and now you see directly in front of you a path. You begin navigating through these winding paths, and you come across these ethereal chains that now stretch across the path and bar your way. And as you look at it, you can realize that every single link in there is resonating with a memory, a choice again from your past. You constantly are being challenged on everything that you're doing here. Now, some are light and easily pushed aside or stepped over, and others are heavy. And you realize that these chains are also connected to you. You look at it, and first it's directly in front of you, and then you begin to like try to understand whether or not you can push through it. And you realize, no, this thing is tied to the ground, anchoring you in place, preventing you from really moving forward with any real grace or ease. Then it begins to whisper at you, reminding you of the consequences of your actions. When you were in the ethereal plane, you begin to realize that you can use your mind.
Yeah.
But you're also a creature of the material plane. And this thing feels like a very real weight dragging you down now. Which would you like to use in this instance to move beyond? Do you want to... You can use athletics. You can use acrobatics. It's trying to drag you down, but you realize that there is a little give and play here. Or do you want to will yourself out of it? Mind you, there might be consequences to each of these that you don't like.
I think I want to stick with the ethereal. So I'm going to will myself out.
Okay, then give me a will save. Let's see. The chain is like wrapping itself around you, and it's just made up of all of the doubts. What do you got?
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna tell. I got an actual.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you what I do.
Alrighty, okay. You got it.
So as it's I'm so happy. Okay. So as I got 33. So as it's starting to pull me down, I'm like, wait a second. It feels heavy, but these are ethereal chains, and these are all of my choices I've made. I could cut through them with choices I've made and cancel it out. So I'm going to, I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm going to will the dagger that I lost.
The brilliant dagger, yeah, sure.
To come back, like an ethereal version to come back into my hand. And I'm gonna use it to just like slash through like a machete.
So yeah, you begin to, when you stare at this thing, you're beginning to realize that this is not just made up of memories. Each of those links, in fact the entire chain, this is a creature, and it's feeding off of your memories, and it's dragging you down into its maw. That chain is just its own tongue, just grabbing you and pulling you straight down into down into itself, slowly consuming you from fear. But now that you understand that, roll for initiative.
I'm gonna oh cool. I'm gonna force feed it to death.
Yeah, give me a perception. You can roll it with fortune because you did so well on the save.
Cool. Keep high.
Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, well, go ahead. It doesn't matter.
Oh, they both fucking sucked. But it was a 20. I rolled a 7.
A 7? Okay, cool. But you got it with fortune?
Yeah, it was with fortune, but it's a plus 13, so it's a 20.
Okay. Oh, so it's a 20. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's no problem. So you will get to go first. Roll to hit with your brilliant dagger.
Yay! The brilliant dagger's back ethereally.
That's also going to help you. So let's see what happens here.
Sweet. Hold on. Let me pull him out. Wait, hold on. Why can't I? Oh, because I'm not an encounter. Okay.
Oh, hold on. Let's get you. Oh no, go ahead. I just need you to roll.
Yeah, no, it was good. I couldn't find the screen. 20 to hit.
20. That is absolutely going to hit. No problems there. You go slashing across that, and I need you to roll your damage. And in this case, it's going to be psychic damage.
Ooh, that's 10 points of psychic damage.
10 points. There's a... This thing starts coming back at you. It's like it starts lashing out. Do you want to do any other actions? That was only one action.
Yeah, I want to... Fuck it, I'll hit it again.
All right, go ahead at a -4 or 5.
It would be a -4. It's not giving me the option to. Oh wait, never mind. I got it.
Cool.
Here we go.
Cool.
That is a 23 to hit.
Yeah, rips right through it.
An additional 19 points of psychic damage.
Yeah, it's It cries out, but that is a pain of your own childhood anguish that it is screaming with, all the frustration you've ever had of being told by someone that you can't do it or you're not good enough or anything like that. It's trying to use those things as offenses against you. You can see it's just being reduced with 2 mighty strikes. It has reduced itself down to one tiny little nagging memory. It's barely holding on. Do you want to attempt a third one at negative, what is it, 8 or 10 for you?
I would like to, it's going to be -8, but I actually want to cast Mind of Menace instead.
How many actions does that take?
It doesn't have an action.
Then-
It doesn't have so what it is it says the spell wards against those. It doesn't have the diamond. The spell wards against those who attempt
The
to
cast
strike
time
him.
is 10 minutes.
Oh, damn it. Oh, but I'm in the ethereal plane. Doesn't time kind of work differently?
No, remember what I said? That time it seems to be flowing at the same rate that you believe it should.
Same.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, never mind. Because I was
Sorry.
gonna be fight with fear.
So
no,
sorry.
it's okay. No, I'm gonna do. Yeah, you know what? I'll try hitting it again.
Okay, is that -8 or -10?
-8.
Okay. Let's see what you got.
13.
That unfortunately feeds it. Ah, you're worthless. You can hear the speaking of some village elder from like decades ago, just completely attempting to destroy you in an effort to even save itself. That is going to lash out. This is going to be, let's see, this is going to be that plus this. Let's see if it hits. That's going to be a 23.
Oh shit! I have a 21, so yeah, that'll hit.
Okay, all right, not a problem. I mean, well, it's kind of a problem, but that is going to be. This is just psychic damage. It hits you. You're worthless and weak, and then it turns into a Twisted Sister music video. You use 2 hit points. two hit points of damage. However,
Imagine.
you're worthless and weak. It's just fucking awful. Give me a will save, please. DC 16.
Gladly.
Yeah.
Gladly. Oh, 15.
Oh!
Fuck.
When it hits you, see, unfortunately, when it hits you, you begin dwelling on the very thing that it was talking about. You are now stunned 1.
Okay.
And what that basically means is that, let's see. Yeah, you can only take 2 actions because you're kind of in your head about this right now. And you're beginning to realize it just smacked you with a horrific insecurity of your own past. And so it's like, it's now embedded. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. That asshole did say that. Was he serious? Like, what about me? And it really begins to make you think about things. Can you give me an example of the insecurity that's now coming up in Bramble?
Yeah, I think it's the fact that everyone would make fun of her for wanting to learn things outside of what she's taught in the village.
Yes, you can see Evan dwelling on the thing. Apple's not wrong. So, yeah, it starts to succumb to this. However, it's now going to attempt to attack you again. Now that it is fueled, it hits you one more time. Oh boy, let's see. This one is going to be. Yeah, this
hit.
one. What's that?
18 doesn't hit me.
Oh, 18 did not hit. I apologize. Sorry. Oh, that's it. Yeah, yours is a 21. Never mind.
21.
That's okay. Unless it rolls. No, it doesn't roll with advantage or fortune. All right. It missed on that, and the third one, it's now going to take a distance back and kind of bolster itself using that. So it had 2 hit points. It gets 2 back. And it looks at you. Told you that learning was just absolutely foolish. Why don't you just be a good little Leshy, plant yourself in the ground and try to grow some? Your turn.
Okay, I don't know if this is gonna work.
Let's try
I
it.
would like to, knowing that these chains are like part of its like tongue, I want to grab one and tap Leyline, and I want to tap into its insecurities.
Oh, that's risky. Is tap leyline an action?
Yeah, it is. It's one move.
Oh shit! All right. Oh yeah. So it is. All right. Give me. Do you want Arcana or Nature?
Nature.
All right. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. Oh, 32.
Jesus.
I want to know what its insecurity is.
So you're gonna get the benefits of the ley line. It's a crit success that you got. Let me just make sure. Yeah. So you kind of tap into it, and that blows right through it. What you are expecting, however, is not exactly what you get.
Yeah.
This thing doesn't have insecurities. It is your insecurity. So you realize that. You're looking at a mirror, and all you're really doing is just fighting yourself. There's no other dimension to it. There's no other depth to it. It doesn't have its own intelligence. This is just your own shit. But what you end up doing with the crit is blow right past that and tap directly into the ground, allowing you to completely bypass any other fucking nightmare that this thing has, because you just grabbed onto nature itself, reminded yourself of your place within it, and you begin to move forward.
Oh. Okay. So my hand reached out and like grabbed onto this chain, right? Like it's like and I'm like ready to like pull its like tongue out of its maw or whatever. And then I realized like the mouth is mine, and like that tongue is connected to like its brain, but it's my brain.
Yep.
And so like as I like my hand shoots forward because it like blows right through it and it goes into earth, and Bramble just sort of like is on the ground and inadvertently like channels wild empathy, and
Ooh, okay.
she just is like, I have to be kind to myself. I just, it's okay to be scared and insecure. I just have to be kind to myself. So I like touch the earth. Like I just like rub the ground that I'm on, and then like, it's okay. It's okay.
All right.
And like, does it all like kind of dissipate?
All right, no problem. It begins to float away, and you can see the old insecurities kind of boiled down to these little helpless children version or childlike version of yourself that didn't know any better and adopted these thoughts and words of other people and put them on as clothing. And your own efforts allowed them to heal from the wounds that they had been suffering underneath the weight of all of that, things that they were told that they had to wear and carry with them, and thoroughly exposed. They didn't know how to defend against them. But then you begin to realize that they can now look at you as an example of what they can expect in the future, that you've actually done quite well for yourself. You remind yourself of kindness. They then begin to show you kindness, and therefore show themselves kindness. And they simply disappear into the past where they belong.
Oh. Yay.
So,
Okay.
the path continues.
Okay.
Remember that storm I started to mention?
Uh-huh.
It's there. You can see it ahead of you. You can see it overlaid distant water. The very water that you're going to have to cross. It's not a comforting place. This storm is going to rampage across this land, and you can feel the land under your feet beginning to tremble. What was, when you first came out of the yurt, is beautiful dark skies. You went into the night and then it was no problem. You looked up, it was absolutely gorgeous, but now all of this has been replaced by swirling vortexes of like blue and silver. The very air around you, the vine, the little fur underneath some of your leaves, you know that stuff? You can feel it beginning to prickle up as the air around you begins to crackle with energy, and you feel a pull, a tug at the very core of your being. You're at the heart of a storm, but you know this isn't a physical phenomenon. It's a maelstrom of emotions and memories, faces and voices from the past, and some are familiar and some are foreign. They flash before you, each of them accompanied by a surge of emotion as all of them, you see them as a giant wall of memory. It is joy and sorrow and anger and love and fear, and each emotion just begins pelting you like a physical blow, threatening to sweep you off of your feet. Now, the path ahead is obscured by this storm. You're not getting out of here, at least not without a fight, and you can make out faint glimmers of light, though, like beacons guiding you forward, and each step is a struggle. Not just against the storm's physical force, but against the emotional onslaught that it's bringing. You only see directly ahead of you by about 10 feet. And each round, you need to make an increasing will save of DC 15 that will continue to increase. On each failed save, you're going to be stunned for another round. So that will mean your actions for the next one get reduced.
Okay.
Now, that's every round. This is going to prevent you from being overwhelmed by all of the emotions. On top of that will save, you're also going to have to make an athletics check in order to move forward. The physical body trying to get through this anguish. Some people get completely locked down by emotion and they freeze. You can feel the potential for that in Bramble as well. Hence, that's going to be a DC 14 athletics check. And if you fail, then you are pushed back by 10 feet and you will have to make that journey again until you can prove yourself that you can move forward. And every 2 rounds, a bolt of raw, planar energy is going to strike a random location within 60 feet of you. And that could be Morty. So the longer you stay in here, the more you are put at danger and the more your friends are put at danger. And that is not going to be easy damage either. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Round 1. Give me a wisdom saving throw followed up by a will save followed up by an athletics.
All right. Will save, oh god, is 16. Athletics is 24, so I'm good.
So, describe the first emotion you feel that you prevent the onslaught of. That is your will save, which was a success. And then describe the athletics that you have to get through in order to break through that memory. Let's find out a little bit more about Bramble's insides.
I think she's still feeling a little squishy as she comes out of like that moment of healing her inner child Leshy. So that first like push into the space of the maelstrom is like, oh fuck. Okay, it's like a quick, resolute like gumption, like I have to do this. Okay. And then it was sort of bolstered by the athletics or the acrobatics. So she sort of like, or athletics. So she sort of just like literally shoved her way into it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, give it to me again. You end up moving ahead by another 10 feet. You don't know what's there, but you start approaching the wall. Oh boy.
God, a nat 1. That's a 14.
That's for the will say. Where is this fucking hair? My God, it's absolutely annoying me. Okay, hold on. Yay, actual play, live games. This is what happens in real life. Alrighty. Wow. So you're not even able to make an athletics check. What is the emotion Bramble feels that completely overwhelms her?
I think it's an overwhelmed feeling. So I think like once she like forces her way in, she's like hit with this onslaught of wind that's very much reminiscent of the memory that the old woman showed her of her with like all of the stuff.
Yeah.
And she had seen it, but she didn't feel it firsthand. So now that she's in it, she's like smacked in the face. It's like seeing stars.
Oh man. Okay. So you are going to be stunned 1, which means so next turn it's going to reduce any actions that you do want to take by 1. And with only 2 left, you find yourself moved back by 10. Creatures start coming out of this windy environment. They begin lashing out at you. These are your own negative thoughts. Continue on into your 3rd round.
All right.
And you're gonna automatically fail, so you're gonna go back by 10 feet. You don't know how long this journey is going to be. So far you moved up by 10 and then back by 10.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So athletic 16
Okay.
and 21.
All right, so that 16 that's going to, you're no problem there. What happened just then?
I think it was a quick realization of like I could do what happened to what I did with Foxglove, and I could change it and make it work. So like the next time the wave comes at me, it turns into like more like feathers or like petals or something instead of like rain, like emotional rain.
Okay.
So it's not slicing, it's soft.
Okay, all right, not a problem. So this is, all right, well, you end up moving forward again. So you kind of come across that, but now the wind is again picking up on you. In this next round, this is going to be round 4. Yep, and in this round, you feel a wave of anger smack you across the face. This is going to be a DC 17 will save.
Easy, 31.
With a crit success.
And nice. And a 21 athletics.
Yeah, you managed to forge forward right through that. You end up blowing right through it. What is that anger represent? Whose anger was that? Why are you feeling it?
I think that was the Dryad's anger. Well, not anger. I think it was like a frustration, like get your shit together kind of.
No, this
thing
was an
that
anger. This was a smack across the face. So it's going to be perceived as a lot more than that. Do you want to amplify that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you know what it is. It's anger of the self. So what happened was, what she felt was that frustration in the beginning, where she didn't know. Like she met the Dryad, and the Dryad was being like, "You have to do this, this, and
Right.
this," and Bramble's like, "I don't fucking know what I'm supposed to do," and then she thought it was that anger that she was feeling, but then she was like, the retrospective anger of like, Bramble, get your shit together. You know what you have to do. Kind of like smack in the face. Like I smacked myself in the face, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet you realize that you have since progressed beyond that time, and now you're moving forward. So hopefully you'll be okay and a little bit better. So with an undetermined amount of time, this one was in DC 18.
I know, failed by 1.
You do have a hero point.
I'm using the hero point.
Yeah, go ahead and re-roll then.
I forgot I had hero points. No, I did worse.
That's a 16.
I did worse.
Oh no.
Fuck me. I had such good rolls until this thing.
So this particular emotion that ends up hitting you, you are overcome with sadness, but it's not a critical fail. How does this sadness end up holding you back? And you are now reduced to 1 action. If you fail one more time, you will be consumed by this and start taking damage.
I think that I am sort of I'm hit with regret of like I could have started this journey a lot sooner or gotten a lot farther if I believed in myself a lot earlier.
Okay. Yeah, it's not looking good at all. Give me an athletics check. Let's see if he made any progress.
Oh yeah, 28.
So you manage to hold your ground against the wind. You don't get pushed back by 10 feet so much, but you do end up losing another action. So you only have one action left for your next turn. This is a DC 19. Will save. Round 5. What do you got?
32. I rolled a 19.
What came across you was happiness, but it was someone else's happiness at your misfortune. What was that? What happened in that event?
At my misfortune.
Oh yeah, no, it was a total feeling of schadenfreude on someone else's part.
Okay, I think it was when I was told that I wasn't like contributing in the right way towards the community, so they stuck me in the library to be an archivist, and it was that sort of smug satisfaction of like she'll learn to fit in. And that it's that like slamming of the door in my face.
Oof. Okay. So with that, you now know that you are a little bit better than what has happened. I need an athletics check after that. Let's find out if you can make up for lost.
14.
So you managed to go through, but these wins were powerful because it's someone else's happiness against your own misfortune. It's a little bit confusing, so you kind of get pushed around a little bit, but you aren't going to lose any additional actions. So far you're okay, but it does move you. Well, excuse me, that's right. You end up standing your ground. Alrighty, it is now round 6. Go ahead.
Okay.
Give me a will save.
Yes, 27.
This one was fear. What happened that allowed you to move through this so easily?
I think it was like the door was slammed in my face, and I didn't know anything. I was locked. It was basically like locked in a prison. Like I'm not good enough or whatever. And then I met the current librarian, or the former librarian, who was like my mentor.
Yeah.
And he was very accepting of who I was, like, oh, you're here, like make yourself useful, and sort of accepted me as this is you now, like do something about it. So it was that sort of like finding your place.
Okay. All right, not a problem. That allows you to move forward.
25.
This is your athletics. Yeah, you end up blowing right through that. Yep, and mind you, you still only have one last chance. Let's see if you can make it through on round 7. This is a DC 20.
Oh, I got a 17.
What was the emotion that begins to overwhelm you?
I think it's doubt. It's like, did I learn enough? Because the old woman has made it expressively clear that I needed to do this, but I don't know what this is. It's just a lot of emotional rain. So like, I'm starting to doubt whether I'm ready for this.
You can feel teeth bite down on your arm, and your feet are now being picked up by the storm. You're about to fall back. Give me an athletics check.
Oh shit. Oh, 28.
So yeah, you manage to like grab onto whatever it is that's in front of you. There's a solid object directly in front of you, and it seems to be pulling you. The teeth, you look down on there, and at first it was a horrible memory of something else, some sort of like a trauma, and you end up having a response to it. And you remember that you had been attacked in the past. It was this horrible thing that had occurred to you. But then as the memory begins to clear, give me for round 8. Then I'll tell you, if you fail, you begin taking damage.
Okay.
You have no more turns left.
31.
You realize that the thing that is biting you, that you're reacting to a past trauma that happened to you. The thing that is biting you is Morty walking backwards with your arm in his teeth, trying to pull you forward through this storm. He's doing it quietly. It's just that your reaction was something that you were trained to do, but then you begin realizing this, the you begin realizing the truth of the situation. You end up steeling yourself against it. You dig your feet in. You manage to find your ground. Give it to me for round 9.
20. That was a 27 athletics, by the way.
Fantastic. Yeah, you're grinding down into it, and you manage to find your footing with a little bit of assistance and your own self-realization.
28 for the next one.
You end up, give me an athletics. Let's see if you can move forward in this.
Shit.
Don't fail.
14?
Nope, not gonna do it. You end up getting locked down, but you don't overcome. So then you're not overcome by emotions. It's just a temporary stalling. So you're okay, but can you make it out of this? Give me your last will save. That determines it all. This is a DC 21.
25.
25.
25.
You feel doubt just smack you in the face. Your friend is trying to pull you through. In the background of all of this, you can see beyond Morty just a massive, you can't see the top of it. It's a massive wall of emotion, and yet here you are with a friend who is trying to pull you through, but you're the one who is able to push through as well. Mm-hmm. What is it about doubt that you learn to overcome?
That I don't have to face it alone, and that I can ask for help. Like, everybody was kind of like the people that are forcing me to be an archivist alone, forcing me to like telling me I have to do everything by myself, and I am incapable of doing it by myself. And I think the feeling is, you're right, some things I can't do by myself, but I had my mentor back at the library. I had Barbara along the way. I met Morty along the way. And I think with Morty helping was like this invigorating, like, I can do this, but I can also do this with people with creatures that care as much as I do.
Give me an athletics check.
Boop, 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 boop. 20.
The energy that was striking down on either side never hit anyone. Morty pulls you through, but you realize he's not pulling you. You grabbed onto him. Mm-hmm. And you asked for that help, and he was there for it. When you come out, you look out. The storm is gone. You're tired, you're drained. There's a lot of shit you had to process there. Morty just kind of collapses down on the ground. And he's just like looking up at you. You alright?
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah, that's I think I'm alright. And he sits up on 4 of his hind legs, and the third pair just kind of down on the ground, and the other 2 are just kind of like T-Rexing. And he like shifts and turns around and looks at a bay of water that is still. Every now and then a ripple comes across, causing waves that begin to grow. And in the distance, a land with mountains in the distance, further back. You swear on the distant shore that there's something there, but it's too far away for you to really know. But right now, Morty's looking at this and going, you know, if there's sharks in there, I'm going to have to say no, right?
I mean, what if that shark was me?
All right, maybe we can do this. And that's where we pick it up next week.
Yay! Now That was a whole therapy session.
So I was taking a look at the people that were watching, and the numbers were slowly going down. I think I should have had a trigger warning for this session, but honestly, I didn't know that we were going to touch on so many of these sensitive topics. So I've got to ask you, how are you? Are you okay?
Good. I was not expecting the woman with the dancing memory to affect me that. I was crying. Did you see the tear fall down my face?
Yeah. It was.
I was not expecting that to hit the way it did. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Is this PMS or is this like?"
Oh God! I didn't mean to be laughing at that, but it's.
No, it was funny. I was like, that was out of left field. I thought I had my shit together, and then that happened. I was like, I'm fucking done.
If anybody wants to say anything in chat to either Erin or myself, by all means, if you happen to be a Patreon member, just let me know if you want to speak, and then of course I'll put you on mic. And that's pretty much, yeah.
Sorry, this comment from I don't know if it's Death or Deeth 25. This is giving Brave Little Toaster vibes. I was gonna say Morty reminds me of the vacuum cleaner so much. I love it, and I'm so sad for the eventual junkyard scene. I love that.
I don't get it. What's the eventual junkyard scene?
Have you never seen Brave Little Toaster?
No, I haven't.
That I feel like that was actually before my time, so I thought you would have picked it up when you were a kid.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Okay.
No,
that's fine.
It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon.
It must have been in black and white then, right? Okay.
It was like with the talkies. No. No, Brave Little Toaster came out, I believe, in 80. Actually, it would have been the 80s.
It was 1987.
87, yeah.
It was a couple of years away from me founding my first company. Shit.
It was so maybe not. It was a bunch of household appliances go on this big adventure, and it's one of them is this disgruntled old geezer old fashioned vacuum cleaner with the bags.
Yeah.
And he's just a curmudgeon, and it just reminds me of like Morty in a way of like, I guess we'll go this way, and he ends up being my favorite character. But yeah, that was such a fucking good club.
So we do have something here. This is, I just got distracted by Neopet, said KJ, and I've been low on spoons, but I have been here supporting anyway, even if I don't remember much. KJ, that's absolutely fine. We're just so happy that you're able to find something to assist you out of your own ethereal storm of emotions. Jesus, this was a heavy episode.
Neopets is a good palate cleanser for sure.
It really is. It absolutely is. Okay, so what are your thoughts about this? We weren't expecting anything, or at least I wasn't expecting anything akin to an emotional revelation for Bramble or anything, but is this something that you can see as something happen? Well, it did happen to Bramble, but how is this going to impact her, I guess is my question.
I think it just is going to prepare her a little more for like death gloom. It's gonna, I mean, that's like the scariest place in the world, so I feel like anything
death gloom, it's just, I mean, the name is like so stereotypical to say welcome to death gloom, now die. It's just
so I think it's but it every time that we go through something like that, it makes it a little more personal for me, so it's nice.
Okay, all right, that's totally cool. And also death, I'm assuming it is Death 25. Welcome, love having you here.
Yes. Welcome.
What is something that you were fearful of through this for Bramble's sake?
I mean, choosing the wrong path would have sucked. Because even though there is no like wrong path, there's no right or wrong. It's just consequences, like Little Misfortune. Even though there's no real like wrong path, there's definitely one that would have done something different. So I'm glad that she stuck to her guns. I think she's leaning a little more towards her intuition now, which is good.
Okay, cool. And can you describe now the relationship with Morty, because it has been evolving since the beginning?
She was gonna tell him that she loved him at the end of that. Yeah, she was gonna be like, "Hey, Morty, I love you."
I don't know how to handle this. And then he goes off, and then you see in this ethereal emotional storm kick up. It's only over him.
Yeah, it's really cute. I love him.
So for the future, let's talk about Bramble's future. Now that you've gotten through the Zeroily Riders, where are you going to go from there? And of course, I do have to ask you the 2 questions which will help us determine whether or not you earned your XP, which of course you did. What did you learn about the world and about Bramble and someone else in the world? But how favorable are you looking now that you have an idea of what it is that lies ahead? A social unsurety, with this new civilization just on the other side of the water, but also the water itself and any compromises that may cause. How are you feeling?
I think that she's sort of on. So it's weird because she's learned all of this about the ethereal plane.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole other universe. It's like an overlay of everything she already knows, is like this like rose colored glasses kind of look. And she feels like that is just an infinite wealth of new knowledge that she has to absorb, so that's a little overwhelming. But at the same time, it cuts down on what she needs to focus on in terms of the material plane. Like now it's just like, okay, get across the bay, and then once you do that, talk to the people on the other side, and then once you do that, go this way, and it makes it a little easier, I think.
You have a question from KJ. Wants to know, but is it romance or platonic love?
It's platonic. I think this is one of my only characters that doesn't want to kiss everybody on the mouth. Although I don't think Ophelia was like that either.
No, certainly not.
This is like definitely like a soulmate platonic thing. Like
I could see that.
You couldn't, yeah.
And you wouldn't want to like stare deeply into the eyes of a basilisk anyway. So.
Well, speak for yourself. I certainly would.
Well, maybe everything you just said was bullshit. So maybe you really do. Maybe you do want to marry him. Yeah.
I do like
fine.
Him. I like him. Can we have a game where we play competing horny parts? That's called real life.
Let's see. So let's talk about let's talk about what your character learned about the world.
The ethereal plane stuff was a big one.
What did you learn?
I learned that you could literally will things to fruition that aren't necessarily real, but they're real in that plane. Mm-hmm. I learned a lot about the memory commerce, kind of like the trading of dreams and memories and stuff like that, which was really cool. And that you could still find peace after death, even if, like, for her, Bramble's a Leshy, so it's just death is just what it is. Yeah. But it was horrific for her name that I already Foxglove. It was horrific for Foxglove, so she was able to kind of like provide some peace, which was nice.
Okay. And what did Bramble learn about herself and about or someone else in the world?
I think she learned that it's okay to not be okay, that you could still move forward and grow if you're having those feelings of not being okay. Mm-hmm. And that having a bad time doesn't mean you have to stop everything and like regress or not go anywhere. You could still learn from bad times.
Okay. And about someone else?
That Morty truly is, I think she's learned like he's definitely not there because he feels obligated to be, because nobody would have gone through that if they didn't want to be there.
Yeah. That's loyal and steadfast. I mean, you helped him, he's helping you. But it also seems to be a little bit deeper. Last question of the night before we turn in, unless anybody out there has anything, which by all means, please ask. This is what we're doing. What is Morty hiding? He's always a curmudgeon. Bramble's had the opportunity to do some self-reflection. What about Morty?
I think she thinks that Morty, because there was that when she met him, there were all the stone statues of the people that were trying to fight him.
Yeah.
And I don't think she thinks he ever really wanted to fight anybody, and that I think he's sort of hiding regret that he caused all of those people to die, which is why he didn't eat them, because they were flesh. He could have eaten them.
Yeah, he could have.
So I think he was punishing himself with like keeping them there as like reminders, not to other people to stay away, but for himself to like, this is what you are. Like, you're a monster. And
You
that's
ever
all you
gonna
ever will be.
you ever gonna mention this to him?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, I'm kind of curious where that's gonna go.
Yeah.
With a comment of he's hiding a deep loneliness, clearly.
I agree. It's really, Morty is very sad, and I think I think he's starting to open up, but I love him.
Well, I guess we'll see. My love, you are once again absolutely amazing. I've seen you really become involved as a player, but as a GM who feeds off of that kind of energy, the more excited you get, the more excited I get. And we always, as GMs, we always kind of have to like maintain this false bravado that everything's always okay. Nothing is ever perfectly okay. We're constantly pulling shit out of our ass, and we just hope that you don't notice, or even better, that you actually enjoy it. You make it so much easier to work with the game and to tell a story. It's very easy to read your reaction. So thank you for that. I really sincerely appreciate it. It's an absolute pleasure, not only to have you as a player, but also as my partner. So thank you so much for that.